The story begins with Ben Quincy, an 18-year-old who loves his part-time job at a local retail supermarket in Asheville, North Carolina. Known for his friendly personality and tireless work ethic, he is well liked by his co-workers in the electronics department, who sometimes joke that he seems to spend more time at the company than at home. Ben's mother, Denise, often marvels at his dedication. Despite struggling with schoolwork due to a learning disability, Ben has found his place at the store, bringing breakfast to his co-workers on his days off and earning the trust of everyone around him. His supervisor, Patty Andrick, thinks the world of him. He calls her every morning to check in and make sure he did everything right the day before. And so it was no wonder that Denise called Patty on Monday, January 3rd, when Ben had not yet returned home from his Sunday night shift. "Have you heard from Ben?" Denise asked Patty, her voice weak with worry. Patty had not seen or heard from him since his shift ended the night before. And soon, everyone at the company knew Ben Quincy was missing. On Tuesday, as Denise waited and worried, Patty received a call at the computer desk. It was a man calling himself Ben. "I can't make it today," he said. But Patty knew Ben's voice like she knew her family's. This voice wasn't his. Patty asked questions, details that only Ben would know, but the caller hesitated, then abruptly hung up. Her hands shaking, she dialed *69 to trace the call. The number led to a car company where a part-time employee, a young man named Jason Otto, also worked. Police soon learned that Jason was the last person seen with Ben, just outside the store. When detectives questioned Jason, his story took on a strange logic. Jason said he had helped Ben find a car, and they had agreed to look at a listing together after work. Ben, driving his light blue Mazda, followed Jason's pickup down the street until, after a few minutes, he flashed his headlights to stop. Ben had gotten a page and needed to find a phone. Jason waited, watching Ben's Mazda drive away, only to return 10 minutes later. Ben was in a hurry, pale and panicked. He bumped into Jason's truck when he stopped and said he had to leave immediately, without further explanation. Jason watched Ben drive away, and that was the last he saw of him. But then came a mysterious call to Walmart, a call made from Jason Otto's part-time job. Suspicion now settled in, though there was no concrete evidence. For days, Denise Quincy waited for news of her son. She texted him, hoping he would call back. But nothing. The police opened a missing person case, though they assured her he would probably return. But Denise knew her son wouldn't just disappear. She and her sister searched streets, parks, and remote roads where Ben might have been driving that night. Then, 2 weeks later, a glimmer of hope emerged. Ben's car, a familiar light blue Mazda, was found abandoned in a parking lot next to a popular restaurant near the hospital where his sister worked. Denise rushed to the scene, her heart pounding. But the car only raised more chilling questions. On the back windshield, someone had scrawled big pink lips, with 2 exclamation points on either side. Inside, the police found a black Labrador curled up on the back seat, unharmed but alone. Next to it was a bottle of soda, a hotel key card, and a man's jacket, none of which belonged to Ben. What could all of this mean? And what was the puppy doing there? The police began to wonder, had someone left the dog as a strange apology? Or was it to draw attention to the car? Patty, shocked, reported that several colleagues had noticed Ben looking nervous in the days before his disappearance. He had mentioned that someone had threatened him. Rumors began to circulate about his friendship with a young woman, Melissa Taylor, who had a jealous boyfriend, Wes. Ben had tried to help Melissa, and Wes had found out. Detectives considered Wes's involvement, but both he and Melissa had been at her mother's house the night Ben disappeared, and their alibis checked out. Frustrated, investigators refocused on Jason Otto. A year after Ben's disappearance, Denise Quincy resumed her search. She posted flyers, distributed missing person cards, and reached out to the media. Local news stations picked up the story, encouraging anyone who saw Ben or his car to come forward. Months passed, then years, and the case began to fall into the cold storage until 2015, when a second tragedy struck. A young couple named Sarah and Jacob Coleman disappeared from their rural Asheville home under mysterious circumstances. Their home was ransacked, but several valuables, like Sarah's necklace and her ID, turned up in a nearby dumpster. A witness saw a man throwing bags into a trash can that night, a man they recognized as none other than Jason Otto. Detectives brought Jason Otto in for questioning, and what he told them made even the most experienced cops shudder. He insisted the couple's deaths were accidental. He had hit them with a car while helping them move some equipment on their property. But his grisly cover-up, burning their bodies and scattering the ashes, painted a much darker picture. And when police searched Jason's property, they found evidence: pieces of clothing, ashes, and small pieces of bone. Jason's story unraveled when he tried to cover his tracks, setting fire to his trailer to destroy more evidence. He was convicted of the Coleman's murders and sentenced to life in prison. While Jason Otto languished behind bars, Ben Quincy's mother, Denise, continued to hope for some closure. Then, 10 days after Jason's arrest, a surprising twist came. Jason's uncle, Hank Otto, recounted a disturbing memory. He recalled that shortly after Ben went missing, Jason poured concrete over a large hole on his property, claiming he wanted to build a fish pond. Hank remembered it vividly, because he had helped Jason mix the concrete on a cold January afternoon. Armed with new evidence, police obtained a search warrant for Jason's property once again. Underneath the concrete slab, they found traces of fabric, several burnt fragments, and mysterious bags of powder that turned out to be crushed limestone. However, no remains were conclusively found. Jason Otto once again found himself at the center of an investigation, but without conclusive evidence, the case once again went cold. In 2022, Ben Quincy's family, now resigned to years of suffering, agreed to a plea deal. Jason Otto would spend another 13 years in prison, admitting to being an accomplice in Ben's disappearance without giving a full confession. Denise, though still grieving, saw a glimmer of hope. While questions still haunt Ben Quincy's case, his family found some peace, knowing that Jason Otto would remain behind bars. But the mystery remains. Who put the puppy in Ben's car? Why were the hotel keys left behind? And who painted those creepy pink lips? For the Quincy family, these unanswered questions remain. And for all of us, Ben's case is a chilling reminder: not all secrets are buried in the past. Some lie just beneath the surface, waiting to be brought to light.